So the other day, I read the Bible. Now, I had never read the Bible before, and I really didn't know too awful much about Christianity, but I figured it's the most popular religion in the country in which I live in. I figured, why not read the book that the religion is based off of? For those of you who don't know, the Bible is a basic synopsis of one Jesus H. Christ and the life he lived. I'm not really sure what the H stands for. I'm pretty sure it's Harold. Isn't it Harold? Alright, well, Jesus Harold Christ, he looks like a herald, so I guess that makes sense. Jesus Harold Christ, he lived in the Middle East, and this book basically chronicles his life, and I know, I hear all the complaints of people saying stuff is all made up, it's just, it's just a bunch of fictitious crap. It's going to turn you into a little anti-Semite, you're going to be like Mel Gibson running around hating the Jews and all that stuff if you read the Bible, but, I have to disagree with all that, because I found my reading of the Bible to be thoroughly entertaining. So many of the stories that are in the Bible parallel what's going on in real life today, and I just want to give you my brief synopsis of what I thought of the Bible and some of the stories I read. And my one main complaint, though, is a lot of the times when they're quoting what someone says, it would be like John 3:10, and it would never signify whether it was like 3:10 a.m. or p.m. And I know that always just bothered me. They never really let you know if the guy was talking late at night or just early in the afternoon, or if someone could really just go back and correct that, that would be great. But that's really my only complaint about the Bible, because like I said, it's a very fascinating read from end to end, and you guys should really read it yourselves. Now, we all know that Jesus started out in humble beginnings, and this book chronicles pretty much every intricate detail of his life. It started off as his days of being a curbside chocolate salesman. We all know he started off, just in a little curbside chocolate stand selling, little sweet treats to everyone in his town. And he parlayed that into a business that, spread, the Jesus chocolate franchises. I think there was about 35, 36 of the franchises. Someone may want to look that up. I don't remember the exact details. But, he became a multi-millionaire just from selling these little chocolates in the Middle East. And, he parlayed that money into other ventures that he wanted to take part of which one I'm sure we're all familiar of. The infamous gathering of the Jews in the room section of the Bible. We've all heard that story, but I'm just going to recant it here for you. It was where the Jews were all assembled in the town, and they were just forced into this big room, and Jesus was looking over the room through a little sheet of glass, and he just has a little light on his face, and he's like, haha, I've got all the Jews in my land gathered up in one room, and you all know what I want you guys to do. And the Jews are looking up, and then all of a sudden, lights come on in the room, and Jesus goes, I want you to dance! And then, like, laser lights come on, and smoke machines, a disco ball drops down, and the Jews just start dancing their asses off, and I'm just like, wow! Jesus was such a great man to bring just such happiness to the people. And I mean, everyone's like, like he hates the Jews, but I'm like, why would he throw these like big like rave type festivals for the Jews? I mean, that's a great man doing great things. And Jesus gets such a bad rap, and I just don't know why. If you would take the time to read the Bible, because the people that hate Jesus are just haters of the Bible, because they're not giving the Bible a chance. And if you would read the book, you would find out stories like this, big dance-off with the Jews. Because so many things just came from that story alone. Because I know you all know about the time where, Moses drops down during that dance-off. And, Jesus just stops the turntables. And Moses is coming down, and there's, a smoke cloud and all this. And he just lands in the end of the room. And he just takes his staff and just stomps it on the ground. And this was the infamous parting of the Jews, where the entire dance floor and all the Jews just part to both sides of the room. And Moses just looks up to Jesus. He goes, yo, JC, you know what I want you to do. And JC goes, you damn right I know. Moses goes, kick that beat, white boy. And Jesus just swings at the turntable, gets that beat going, and Moses just starts dancing through the center of the party in the room, and oh my God, everyone's just going nuts. I mean, like, who would think Moses, because Moses was pretty old, and he's busting out some pretty good moves. And one of the things though, and this is how, you know, I was mentioning how this parallel stuff in real life, this was basically the first Soul Train Soul line, because obviously the show Soul Train ripped off the infamous Moses parting of the dance floor. And it's really bad that a show like Soul Train, you guys know I hate rip-off hacks. I just hate rip-off hacks. Soul Train's right up there. Have you ever seen the show Soul Train say, we want to thank the creator of the Soul Train Soul line, who happens to be Moses? No, they've never given credit to Moses. Moses created the Soul Train Soul line. And I know I'm going to get heat from a lot of people for saying that, but you know what? The proof is in the Bible. Read the Bible. It's in Leviticus 6:22 or something. It's there, clear as crystal. It clearly says Moses parting the dance floor, and he does the dance off. And that's the infamous scene where Moses dances to the other side of the room, and then, of course, out of one wall, boom, you just see a big explosion. And in walks, that's right, the Prophet Muhammad. Now, it doesn't really describe what Muhammad looks like, but I don't know, you just gotta kind of guess what he looks like. I'm not gonna go ahead and guess what he looks like, because that would just be wrong to guess what someone looks like when you have no idea. But anyways, this was the infamous scene where Muhammad and Moses, you know, have their little face-off. Moses walks up and he goes, oh, you got some nerve showing up at my dance-off here with the Jews. And Muhammad's like, yeah, well, I kind of come and go where I want. And Jesus is looking down like, ooh, what's about to happen here? Moses just looks up at Jesus and he goes, do you have any idea what's happening here? And Jesus is like, I have no idea. Moses signals through the hole that he busted through, and in walks the Virgin Mary. Jesus Christ is like, Mom, what are you doing here? And Muhammad looks up and goes, your mom's here for one reason and one reason only. Moses and I have some unsettled business, and your mom is going to help us end this. So, Muhammad looks over at the Virgin Mary and says, come here, honey. You know what I want you to do. And the Virgin Mary nods. Muhammad goes, kick that beat, white girl. And the Virgin Mary just starts to beatbox, and she just kicks a freestyle beat. And Muhammad goes, that's right, Moses, we're having a battle rap. Oh my God, the lyrics they were spitting back and forth were ill. It was like that scene in the end of 8 Mile, only Moses did the thing where he pulled down his pants and walked away and you saw his white ass walk across 8 Mile. Yeah, anyways, watch the movie 8 Mile, because, I mean, again, 8 Mile obviously stole that scene from the infamous Muhammad versus Moses battle rap, but oh, it was crazy. And you see like all the Jews going around, they're like, oh shit, those are some sick lyrics, damn. Oh, Muhammad just got dissed. Oh, Moses just got dissed. And it went back and forth, and there's no real clear winner, because if you see the lyric breakdown in the Bible, it's pretty even. They were both equally dissing, and I mean, they end nicely. Like, you know, they do the whole bro handshake and the pat on the back, and then they just start dancing with the Jews, and they have just one big dance off to end the night. And I mean, this is a great story of unity, triumph, and everyone's happy, and Jesus starts kicking the beat again, and the Virgin Mary's on the dance floor dancing, and everyone's having a good time. I mean, why do people hate the Bible if this is the type of stories you're going to find in it? And I mean, the one other story that I want to just, you know, recall here for you is the number of theme parks that Jesus made. I'm talking, of course, of Jesus Land, the most popular of the Jesus in the Jesus theme park franchise. Now, this was a park where I wish this theme park existed to this day, because I mean, we all know the JC Express roller coaster. I mean, the Bible clearly states the first drop was 1,000 feet. 1,000 feet! Like, a good coaster today will give, like, you know, 320 foot drop. I mean, that's chump change compared to something like JC Express. I mean, the JC Express, could you imagine the G-forces that roller coaster pulled? And this story also describes why coasters had the two-car format, where it's like the two seats next to each other. They designed that so a husband and wife, you know, two people that could procreate with each other, could all sit next to each other, and they kind of like, you know, file together, and everyone in the lands that could procreate with each other would gather here at this roller coaster and, you know, gather up in the queue, and they would all ride the roller coaster together. It's kind of like if they built like this gigantic boat and they put, you know, two of everyone and everything that could procreate, but that's the whole different story. And yeah, I mean, it's a great roller coaster. I mean, the one thing though that really kind of makes you wonder, and this is where I kind of gave some legitimacy to the people that said, you know, the Bible's, you know, has some stories that are complete bullshit, is where did this coaster go? I mean, think of it. The first drop was 1,000 feet. So could you imagine like the support structures and the amount of track and everything? Like, how does that coaster just vanish? I mean, that'd be like a big gigantic arc of sorts vanishing. But anyway, that's a whole different story. But yeah, I mean, the Bible, fantastic stories. Jesus Land, the dance-offs, the raves. I mean, Muhammad and Moses getting in a battle rap. That's awesome. I mean, who was bored reading the Bible? I was like entertained. I was like, when it was done, I was like, oh man, is there a sequel to this? That's the thing. Like whoever wrote it just said, hey, I'm just gonna write one book and that's it. Like, what an asshole. Why did that person write more of these? These were great books. I mean, I kind of forget what happened at the end. It was something with crosses and nails, but I don't know. You know, I don't want to, you know, taint it with anything bad, because the good stories far outweigh the bad in the Bible, and it's a fascinating read, and I was just thoroughly captivated, and I think you guys should sit down and read the Bible for yourselves and just take part in the utter experience that is just fantasticism. I'm going to create a word, fantasticism. True story. Look, I don't give a flying thin minute if anyone's offended by this. On a side note, the people that keep asking me about this school, I never went to this school. I don't even know where this school is. William Allen Middle School? I don't even know where it is.